20 years of engineering experience. 6 figures the year before. Today, he's washing his face in a gym sink at 6 in the morning. Let me show you exactly how a person like that ends up there. 1,700 applications in 18 months. A credit score of 350. A GoFundMe that raised exactly $5. And one job offer at a $50,000 pay cut. A 20-year engineer, 6 figures the year before, now counting the change in his account. He told himself it was the market. He told himself it was the algorithm. He told himself referrals were corruption. He was wrong about all 3. I'm going to walk you through 3 stages of this autopsy. The first 2 were mistakes. The third one wasn't a mistake at all. It was a belief. And it cost him a year of his life. Not a metaphor. A literal year, and everything he owned. I spent 15 years on the other side of the inbox. I used to reject resumes like his every day. 15 years reading applications, running interviews, deciding who got hired and who never heard back. I know exactly what he did wrong, and what would have ended this whole thing in 90 days. I see this same autopsy every single week. This is autopsy number 1. Stage 3. Volume. He sent applications to the United States, to Singapore, to Madagascar. 1,700 of them across every continent that would have him. He treated the job market like a lottery. Buy enough tickets and one has to hit. It does not work that way. Here's the math nobody runs. LinkedIn Easy Apply has a documented 3.1% response rate, and most of that is automated rejection. 1,700 applications didn't get him 1,700 chances. It got him noise. Out of 1,700, maybe 50 were auto-acknowledged. Maybe 5 reached a human. And how many of those humans remembered him a week later? 0. He wasn't applying. He was donating data to a database. The ATS isn't a judge. It's a broken search engine. Recruiters type keywords into a database. That's it. If the exact job title from the posting isn't in your resume, you don't get rejected. You just don't exist. It doesn't weigh your 20 years. It matches strings of text. Miss the exact phrase and you are invisible. Not rejected, invisible. He could have submitted 17 resumes or 1,700. Same result. 0. So here's what actually happens. A guy on our job search hacks ran the actual experiment. Same level engineer. He stopped applying through portals and started finding hiring managers directly. 3 sentence notes. I saw your hiring. I noticed you use Next.js. I've worked with that stack for a year. 12 messages. 4 replies. 2 interviews. A 33% response rate, while our guy was getting 0. But volume wasn't his biggest mistake. The biggest one, he documented himself and ignored. Stage 2. Customization. He rewrote his resume for every single job. Hours per application. A different summary every time, different bullets every time, for months. 47 versions of the same document. For postings a keyword filter would decide on in half a second. Then, buried in his own post, 1 sentence. Quote, I received more interview requests with my unchanged resume than with the modified ones. He ran the experiment on himself. He held the data in his own hands. And he kept customizing anyway, because a stranger with a certification told him to. This is the part where the patient already knew the diagnosis. Career coaches told him to tailor every application, so he did, even after his own numbers told him it was making things worse. The conventional wisdom was louder than the evidence in front of his face. I watched smart people do this for years. They trust the advice because everyone repeats it, not because anyone measured it. It usually is. 8 months of testing by another user found one thing. Putting the exact job title from the posting in your headline produces a 10.6 times callback increase. Not rewriting every bullet. Just the headline. 90 minutes an application and a 6% callback rate, versus 10 minutes and a rate that jumped many times higher. One strong base resume matched to the title. Higher callbacks, far less burnout. None of that was the real problem. The volume and the customization, those were tactical. The last one cost him a year. Because it wasn't a mistake he could fix with a better template. It was a belief he refused to question. Stage 1. Ideology. Here's what he wrote, in his own words. He refused to use his network. He called referral hiring, and I quote, a form of baseline corruption. He would rather lose everything than let one person put in a good word for him. 3 to 5% of resumes submitted through portals get a human response. 30 to 50% of jobs are filled through referrals and relationships. He chose to compete in the 3% market. He moralized himself out of the 30% market. And he did it while sleeping on a gym mat, defending a principle that was quietly deleting his future. He's not wrong that the system isn't pure merit. It rewards who you know. But the corruption he refused to take part in? It's not cash to a hiring manager. It's a person saying, I worked with this guy. He's good. Look at him. That's not corruption. That's the most basic human thing there is. The oldest signal we have. One person vouching for another. He held a standard that cost him his housing, his car, his credit, his health, and never once asked himself the only question that mattered, whether the standard was worth the price. So, if this were me, here's exactly what I'd do. You don't ask for a referral. That was his objection. And fine. You find people who recently joined the companies you want. You send a connection request. No pitch, no resume. Just, I saw you joined Stripe 6 months ago. I'd love to hear about the transition. 60% get accepted. Half turn into a real conversation. And then they offer to refer you. You never asked. They volunteered. That is the entire move he refused to make. That's the autopsy. He sent 1,700 applications when he needed 50 with a human on the other end. He customized when he needed to standardize. And he refused to network in a market where networking is how jobs get filled. 50 applications with a human on the other end would have beaten 1,700 into the void. Every stage had an exit. He walked past all 3. He gave up his car, his credit, his home, and 50 grand a year to learn what one comment could have taught him in 6 months. The market didn't punish him. His pride did. Every story on this channel is an autopsy of someone who followed the playbook into the ground. If you're 3 months in and still grinding the way he was, stop. Watch the pinned video. Come back for the next autopsy. This channel exists so you can borrow his hindsight for free. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as designed. Just not for you.